Record. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Rodney Hash Podcast. I know I told you guys I would have a Helson Gracie relative on. However, in true Helson Gracie fashion, it's a little late. I do have another awesome jiu-jitsu person here, though. Tackle Jiu-Jitsu out of Parma, Ohio. I got Michael Hudak. Tell these people a little bit about yourself. What degree belt are you? How long have you been doing jiu-jitsu? Just tell us a little bit about you, man.
Sure, man. Tackle's in Middleburg Heights now. We moved out of Parma, got out of the slums into a slightly better neighborhood. We're in an industrial parkway next to Fatheads Brewery in Middleburg Heights on Engle Road. My name is Michael Hudak. I'm a black belt under Justin LeBen. I've been training for a long time. Yeah, I don't even know. Cause like I didn't start with jiu-jitsu. I started with like boxing and kickboxing. And so like I tangentially like trained with certain people in grappling, but I didn't take it seriously until kind of like later on after I got done getting kicked in the head. We run Tackle Jiu-Jitsu with my partner, Adam Knipfer, out of Middleburg Heights. He runs the gi program. I run the no gi program. We also do kids classes, and then we have striking. We have a little MMA team that does some amateur fights. So coming up, I don't know how long there's the gap is between when you put these out and when we record it. But August 8th, Ben Brunskill, Carter Brunskill, and Tyler Whitreich are all three fighting in Akron, and I believe it's a Cage Thunder event.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's actually kind of cool. Like I know at least two. What were the three names again?
Ben and Carter Brunskill, they're brothers, and then Tyler Whitreich is obviously kind of we share him with Upgraded a little bit. He lives in this neck of the woods.
That won the car jiu-jitsu thing.
He won the Sonoma one, so he did not attend the second tournament, which was in the Durango. James Neely out of Stout won that.
Okay.
So I would love to see
him a lot too lately.
Yeah, I'd love to see James versus Tyler for the belt,
cool.
But we'll see. I might do. I think the next TGGL card that we do,
which is Tackle Grappling League. Correct?
Yeah, correct.
Which is something you guys do all in house. Which is also one of the reasons I want to. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk with you about today between the card jiu-jitsu, the Tackle Grappling League, everything you're doing at the gym. One thing that I will say about your gym that I've noticed every time I go there is I have fun. Mm-hmm. Like it seems like that is something that you guys have as like a core tenet there is everything's fun. Like nothing's like I can't imagine anyone getting yelled at and screamed at by you or Adam. Like I could see you guys having a talking to someone about an uncomfortable situation, but I could never see you scream at them or make anyone feel less than a human.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, being human's a low bar to set, so we don't try to make it harder. But yeah, for sure, we're we don't take it seriously. Nobody at Tackle makes money off of Tackle, really. Like people get the coaches get compensated, but nobody's like making a living off of it.
Yeah, so this is all a passion project.
Yeah, I just think that it kind of screws everything up when you have to monetize it, and then all of a sudden you sell T-shirts for $50, and then you start like trying to get people to buy annual memberships instead of monthly because you want to protect your like bottom line. And this is our third year of running the gym. I don't even know how we'd be able to survive if we did try to monetize it. So like I understand where like you have horror stories of other gym owners getting really weird when money's involved because like it's so hard to make money on jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm. Well, MMA in general, I don't think a lot of people realize like all the people that they see on these local cards, especially, like none of them are really making anything. And if you're talking about from like a net profitability standpoint, like no one's in the green. Like there may be some people like at the UFC level that maybe now like are in the green, but like that's so far few and in between. Like I've known pro fighters, like Dusty Schaefer. We've talked a little bit about like what he's pulled, and he's a very, very popular fighter. And there's no way that he's in the green. As many months of training as he's done, as many like the amount of like grind on your body, the wear and tear, like it's everything within the fighting world's a really big passion project. I feel like there's a lot of people that do try and get into the monetary side of it, and that's what ruins most of the businesses.
I think that like if you like extrapolate how much money you could possibly make if you really like turn the gears on the monetization machine, and you realize that you'd be screwing over a lot of your friends for 60 grand a year, it kind of makes it easier to say, you know what, instead of taking that 60 grand, I'm going to make a clubhouse. We're going to have a lot of fun, and you have to make your money elsewhere. And so kind of going back to the Tackle Grappling League, nobody at our gym wants to pay $100 to compete at a grappling industries. And I'm not even saying that that's like a bad deal. I think that it costs a lot of money to rent those gyms. It costs a lot of money to rent a hotel room. You have to have mats. They pay their refs. Nobody wants to pay money to compete like once or twice. And I think that's kind of the problem that we had. And I think there's still a space for that. But for my guys, I'd rather just give them an avenue to compete for free. And so we do all sorts. Like, we don't just do jiu-jitsu events. Like, we did a car jiu-jitsu event, obviously. Most recently, we did an event where nobody knew how to do jiu-jitsu. And so the real competition was we matched 10 people that didn't know how to do jiu-jitsu with 10 blue belts that, you know, can kind of teach, I guess. But they all had an hour to teach whatever they wanted. And then we did a single elimination bracket. And that worked out really well. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of other ideas that we do, like, you know, sumo wrestling out of an inflatable duck, you know, more like 2-on-2 match type things, really whatever people are interested in. But one thing that we've really, so far we've held true to it, I anticipate it always being this way, is we don't charge people to spectate if it's an in-house tournament. We don't charge people to compete. We do give away prizes. They're not huge prizes, obviously, because it's pretty much all coming out of my pocket. But like, it's a way for us to compete and get some activity going without anyone spending any money. And so like the last event was really special. Like, I bought a bunch of like snacks and food, and like I asked them, what kind of beer do you want? They selected Miller Lite and Hard Mountain Dew.
I was in that group chat. I was like, wow, okay. But
a lot of people got like, they were shotgunning Hard Mountain Dews and then fighting, which I thought was really, you know, sweet and beautiful, with all these, you know, fun people that really didn't know what to expect.
I'm not gonna lie, that makes it even more impressive that nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. The entire tournament section of it took less than 30 minutes.
Which is wild, because if any of you guys know, like, a lot of matches, especially even like blue belt matches, white belt matches, they go like the time a lot of the time. We were just talking before this. You said only like one of them went to time?
Only one of them went to time.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was a really, really, really good match. And, you know, we kind of did overtime rules on the fly, and we just did first point, basically, first takedown. And I kind of wish we did EBI. I just thought that if we did EBI rules, it never would have ended. But it was, I mean, there were some like legitimately like nail biting matches. And so the card we did before was, I think, the only actual like straight up jiu-jitsu super fight card we've ever done. And it was boring. It was so like, it was really good jiu-jitsu, but it was so unfun to watch, like, for somebody that wasn't invested in the people, that we were like, what can we do that's like more fun?
I feel like that's one of the things that jiu-jitsu as a whole, as a spectator sport, is missing, is how do we make it entertaining for those that aren't already participants in the sport? Like, my parents or children or whoever may, or loved ones, whoever may want to go to it, but they're not going to enjoy it the same way that someone that fully understands it will. The same way that a lot of people don't like when a UFC match goes to the ground. They see that and they're like, oh, I don't get it. It's whatever. But those of us who understand it are like, oh, this is the best chess game ever. Oh, he's just got to get his back to, oh, perfect. Like,
I mean, let me ask you this though. How many like Polaris events are you watching personally?
None.
How many of the 80cc trials things on Flow Grappling have you watched?
So me personally, I'm not one that, if it's on, I love to watch it. It doesn't matter what it is. I mean, I guess probably not gi. But like, generally speaking, I enjoy watching it, but I would never set out to watch any sport personally, unless it's someone that I know that's involved in it. That's just me personally, though.
Yeah, for sure. Same. I think that that's kind of the problem with it, though. You know, it's just, it's hard to watch. I would say that like I have a Flow grappling subscription, but I'm really only watching it when I'm trying to get like when I'm trying to see like, oh, Tyler's going against this guy. Let's see how he trains, like, but I also don't even really watch footage of people that I'm going up against because like it turns into like, are they really prepping for my game or are they going to try to do their game? And I'd rather kind of go into it more with like a fresh mindset because every time I've tried to match somebody's game or come up with a counter plan, it did not work out super well for me.
Yeah, because they're changing their game to based on your game. So
yeah, it's just better to flow.
Yeah, you're better just learning better overall jiu-jitsu, and then just when things come, expect it or not expect it, just kind of flow with it. The way I look at it, like some advice that I've given people in the past is like, hey, like it's not a battle. When you're out there in a match, it's not a battle. It's a war. It's a series of battles. So like, let's say we're on our feet and we're standing and we tie up and you take me down. All right, I may have lost that battle, but that doesn't mean the war's over. I'm still in guard. We're still at 50-50. I can still do a sweep and then I'll have won that battle, but that doesn't mean the war's over. I still have to keep going.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I would agree with that. I think that people get really wrapped up in trying to create a strategy. And when the strategy fails, then they kind of lose sight of what they have, as opposed to when you're at an open mat and you're just rolling around playing. I think that you have a better opportunity to like experiment and flow and you're more comfortable. So if you can roll in competition the same way you'd roll in an open mat, you'd be better off like long term. And so that's how I've approached definitely like the last 3 years of super fights.
Yeah.
I had a loss against Michael Arrieta at a Twisted Church when that was still going around.
I was there for one of your Twisted Church matches. I don't know if you had more than one, but
yeah, there was a combat jiu-jitsu one I did with Aaron Giannetti, and then I got that one. Aaron's cool though, and Michael Arrieta's cool too. But Michael Arrieta, I was like nervous to go against. I was surprised that we were in the same weight class still because I thought he was significantly bigger than me, and that kind of psyched me out a little bit, which is a silly thing to be psyched out about. But I like was doing really well, and then I ended up getting heel hooked because I got greedy with it. But I had like a strategy for that, and I was like, I should have just kept on flowing. It's when I started going back to what my ideation of what that match would be is when I ended up losing.
I could see that. People expect a certain thing and then they train with the anticipation of like, again, like going back to the war thing, like they have this battle plan and if things go off the rails of the battle plan, they give up and lose the war. Happens a lot. One thing I do want to touch on is you're competing at a really high level, and you even said yourself, like sometimes even just looking at an opponent, you can get yourself psyched out, and that does play a big role. And I feel like a lot of people at like lower levels probably are like, man, I wonder when does that ever go away? And I think you kind of already answered. I don't think it ever does it?
No, I think that like high level jiu-jitsu is also kind of confusing because you'll have a lot of even like Dante will have like matches against guys that really have no business rolling against Dante. And so
you mean Dante Leon?
Right? Yeah. Or like Max Hands, anyone out of Adamus, like they like there's a lot of just mismatches in jiu-jitsu because there aren't a lot of like super high level elite guys to go around.
Yeah.
And if you watch those guys, they're not really prepping for their opponents as much. If anyone's prepping, it's their opponent's prepping for them. But you can watch like Max Hansen go against a guy and just like walk through him, and then I go against that guy and I'm like, oh, this is much harder than I thought it was going to be. And it's because Max is just really good at jiu-jitsu. So I think that like footage kind of puts no matter what, it puts a false image in your head of how it's going to go, because jiu-jitsu math's kind of weird too.
Yeah, I mean, you could have a day where everything's going right and you don't understand why, but you're just rolling better, you're reacting better, and let's just say hypothetically we're all at an open mat. On Monday I come in, I kill it. Tuesday I come in, I kill it. Wednesday I'm doing the exact same thing, nothing's changed. Different opponents, some of them the same, some of them are different, and I am just getting murdered, slaughtered. I don't know why, I don't understand it. Sometimes it's just like that. So, I mean, again, if you're just watching footage and someone just so happened to have a bad day and you're expecting them to be meh, they got walked over, and then you go in there and you're like, oh, this is not what I expect. So that's where footage in general just kind of becomes... You got to take everything with a grain of salt, and you're better off just trying to be the best version of you rather than trying to be the guy that's going to beat this guy.
Yeah, for sure. Again, it's all relative. But going back to your other point of there's not a lot of money to go around. If like nobody's jiu-jitsu career matters for the most part, even at the tippy top, like a lot of those guys don't have like lavish lives. So when money isn't even really a feasible option to expect, you better be having fun, because otherwise you're just going to be miserable not making money. And I think that a lot of people kind of get in their heads, especially younger guys. They're like, well, if I keep on rallying up these grappling industry wins, somebody's going to notice me and I'm going to get a sponsorship for $1 million. And that just doesn't exist.
It's not real, unfortunately. I mean, it's coming from a wrestling background. It's one of those things where I already know grappling in general. Like, there's a lot of passion for it. The people that love it. But like, there's just no money in this. Like with wrestling, like, before jiu-jitsu, I mean, I looked at it like, all right, so like, let's say you're like the best wrestler ever. You're Jordan Burroughs. All right, you go to high school, you kill it. All right, cool. You go to college. It's hard to find a college, and you're probably not getting a full ride, even if you are Jordan Burroughs. All right, so you're still paying out of pocket for that, but you love doing it. All right, so after the college level, what is there? There's not much. I mean, like, the amount of people that go from high school that can actually make it to college is a very small percentage. And then once you get to after that, the collegiate level, like the people that are wrestling for money, there's no way those guys are. There's no way Jordan Burroughs is making buku bucks. Maybe off sponsorship deals, but again, that's the one in several billion people.
It's the fantasy that's sold, I think, no matter what. And like it's easy to like obfuscate where your money comes from too, because some of these guys get their money from other means. And so then you see somebody that seems to like they've made it fighting, but they didn't make their money fighting. They made it, through either a different kind of career path or, crypto or something like that. So I think that level setting young competitors to have the right like mindset for what to expect or to inspect what they expect, I think is crucial.
Yeah.
Not done enough. But sometimes, like as a jiu-jitsu gym owner, you also realize that there's a little bit of gamesmanship in terms of that's what you're selling them. You're selling them on this like competitive dream. And not everyone wants to be like a world champion competitor, but you want to have some serious competitors in the gym that like, if somebody was going to make it in the gym, it would be that guy, right? And I think that's you don't want to completely poo-poo it, but we don't at Tackle because we're not selling anyone anything for the most part. But like I get it, like I understand. Yeah. There were a lot of things I didn't like about a lot of other gyms that I was at prior to starting one with Adam. Mm-hmm. But the longer we run a gym, the more I understand why those people made those decisions that I didn't like, because I can't wrap my head around the anxiety I would have if I actually had to like monetize the gym.
I could imagine.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like there's I kind of go off on a tangent, but like I like the Naga tournaments quite a bit. I think they're run really well as far as like.
That's the one where you win the sword, right?
If you're a kid, yeah. If you're an adult, you get a belt. But I actually don't think they do swords anymore. I think kids get belts now too. But
well, the sword was cool.
It is very cool. They used to have one in Pittsburgh called Cold Steel, and you got like a real katana. That was nice, but I think that went away after COVID. But Nagas, I was like when I was doing the first TGGL like ideations, I was modeling like after like how much does Naga make from a business perspective. And they were pulling in like 1,000 competitors. At some point, I had like math going between like average sales price of attending minus what I thought they were paying for the belts and the medals, and then paying their refs and all that. I was like, each event in a well-populated city. So like the Cleveland one doesn't do well, but the Detroit and Pittsburgh ones do pretty well. I'm like, they're making like $200,000 per event. Minus costs. So I don't know what the profit would be, but like if you just add up all the what do you call it? The tournament fees, $200 give or take. And I'm like, or 200,000, sorry. And I'm like, that's actually not that bad. But when you figure out like what their cost into all of it is, like you have to basically do a volume play, which is why there's a Naga tournament in every city, throughout the year. And so I would love to know at what point in the year do they become profitable instead of, you know, just covering their nut. But when you move that to more of like an in-house tournament, you realize quickly that there's just not like, it's just better not to take money from anyone, because you don't even like, it's just not even worth the pain in the ass of asking people for money. And I'd rather just lose, you know, $500 every event on prizes and food, you know, and then, you know, call it a day there. And like with the last one, we pretty much were just giving away like tackle merch. We gave $5 Sheets gift cards as our default prize for blue belts. And then we gave,
that was the prize when I was there. If you went up against the black belt, like it was like a Sheets card, right?
Yeah. If you did, awesome. It's literally anything I need to coerce somebody into doing. I have a stack of $5 Sheets gift cards. So, but yeah, like it's just better just to give it away than to try to like, you know, chase people around for money. We did like a league the first time around, and I was trying to make the entry fee $20. And like we got it, but like even chasing people around for $20, I'm like, you know what? I would pay $20 per person to not chase people around for this money. So we just don't charge for any of that.
Which I remember the league too. Explain the league thing again, because that was like the very first tackle grappling league, right?
Yeah. So
that was cool. That was like a series of things.
Originally, we were going to do basically super fights once a week for a month, which is what we did. We weren't going to. We did one day a week, which is usually Friday. We just hammered in as many super fights within people that entered the league as possible. We divided everyone up between under 170 and over 170. And you get points for winning by submission, points for less points for winning by decision, and then you get nothing if you lose. And then at the end of the month, whoever wins gets like a belt. Is how we did it per each weight class. And so that was fine, but the month went by pretty quickly, and it was very obvious, like within the first 2 weeks, who was going to win the second 2 weeks. And so that wasn't very fun. So the next iteration was we did it over 3 months. But that was too many months, and like people just couldn't make it, and then it turned into whoever could show up most consistently was the one that won. And so then from there we ended up doing just a normal super fight card, and then we did the random people. So I think that
was there at one point there where if you competed on a different bracket or something like that, you got points?
Yeah, we gave people one. So the way it worked was it was kind of a convoluted method. It was 12 points for somebody that got a submission. It was 4 points for somebody that won via decision. And then if you went out in the world and competed in an MMA card or a UGI or a fight to win, we gave you 1 additional point. And that actually ended up being very crucial because those would be like tiebreakers because we were all on like an even system.
Yeah.
So the idea was we wanted people in Cleveland to get more matches and more familiarity with other fighters, other competitors in Cleveland, so that when somebody competed against us in Detroit, they were like, oh, this guy's from Cleveland. He's pretty good. And we didn't want people to join Tackle. It wasn't like a marketing thing. We didn't want people to like feel weird about winning or losing. We just wanted more reps that didn't cost as much money, because like you go to grappling industries again, pay $100, get 2 or 3 matches. That doesn't really like get the competition jitters taken away from you. And so I felt like if you were just competing every week in like a high intensity match, you would have a better time handling those fight to win stage lights, or if you're in like a BCM caged grappling situation, or if you're out in the world doing like a finisher sub only. It would encourage people to compete more, to normalize competing more, and then kind of make the community better.
I agree. That's what honestly, that was like one of the first things when I seen you doing all that. I'm like, dude, I love this. This guy's over here. Like you're doing something that it's not just beneficial to you. It's beneficial to the community, to the culture, to all of those around us. And that gave me a lot of respect for you, dude. Like seriously, you are a really good person, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I don't know if that makes me a good person, but I will tell you that like the community doesn't really fuck with it that much. So like that's why we've kind of pulled back from the league thing, because like I think some people still think that I was trying to like poach members, and we've never taken a member from our open mats or our TGL. Like we haven't acquired anyone that way. And I think that people like, again, but if you're a business owner and you need to make money every person leaving is like $1,000 per year minimum that you're not having anymore.
And that's how they view it, which is one of those things. And I get it, but as someone who, from an outsider looking in, I could see that was never necessarily your situation. That was never what you were trying to do. It just seemed like you were trying to help out the culture and the community genuinely. And that's, like, to me, that speaks volumes.
For sure. And I think, like,
on that note, I noticed on this last UGI card, they had 3 kids going against each other. Did you talk DJ into that?
No, Tim Lang, I think, is the brainchild for that. So
I can see that.
Yeah, Tim Lang is a creative man in and of himself. But he also has run into similar problems where just trying to get people out of their gyms competing in like a local card and supporting it. Like, DJ and Tim both are kind of, like they have their pool of people, which is typically the same pool of people I have. Yeah. But there's all sorts of gyms that are in Cleveland that won't throw their competitors in there and don't want to see them compete. I'm not going to name them, but like, because I genuinely I like everyone for the well, that's not true, but I'm like friendly with everyone, But
would be amazed some of the drama that happens in the jiu-jitsu community in general. It is wild. Like when you start looking at the history of it from like the start of like Griffin Raw, when you start realizing how many people are at other gyms that started other gyms because they left Griffin Raw, and then same with Helson Gracie. As much as I love all those guys up there, they've definitely had people that have spread out and do their own thing from there. And
I'm not immune to that. Like we split off from something, but like I feel like in Cleveland the story has always been, everyone split off from Strong Style or Evolve. And Evolve's not around anymore. It was like closer to Akron. I was a Strong Style guy, but like even Griffin Raw, I feel like kind of split off from that. I'm not 100% of my history, so hopefully Jason Dent doesn't come and try to burn me down. But I don't know.
We'll just leave that one alone.
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't.
So I don't know Jason personally. I went to school with his nephew Cody Dent, and he was a school bully. Like I was at Ledgemont.
Hell yeah.
So like just for that reason alone, like I've never really been fond of the family, and everything that I hear, I'm just like, yeah, that sounds like Cody.
Yeah, you'll find that speaking broadly, there are a lot of people, no one specific, that used to have a lot of friends in the community and no longer has those friends. And this applies to a lot of people. And I try very hard to not be one of those people. Like I try to keep my friendships intact. I try to be friendly with everyone. With fighting, it's very like emotional. Like people don't like being taken down. Like people don't like losing. There's a lot of
ego involved for sure, and it's just part of what it is. It's a combat sport. I mean, there's a lot of testosterone involved, even if you're a female. Like the amount of testosterone that boosts through someone when you win a whole tournament, bro, it feels good.
For sure, yeah. I think that like another thing that I've realized, kind of having been around for a while now, a lot of the beef that comes out is coming out of like 2 23-year-olds that aren't getting along. And I think that when time passes, like everyone kind of comes back around. Because like I had a little bit of drama with some 23-year-olds that I hope talk to me now that they're 24. Because I think that like, it's just like life's just hard when you're younger, and then and time moves slower. Like the older you get, each day is a smaller percentage of your life, and so it becomes easier to become patient and like think things through. And I think that as young men and women, age, they're immature. They realize like I probably should have been a little less heated in those moments, but there's lots of space for people to put water under the bridge and all that. And I don't have a whole lot of drama with people that are still left in the community. The only big one that I have, I don't even think he's around anymore. But I'm not trying to start any more beef, that's for sure.
I think I know who you're talking about. I think if it's who I'm thinking, I think they're doing things, but I've never seen them out and about.
Yeah, it's been over a year for sure. Yeah, so
I mean, I wish them the best, but it's
same. One of my favorite people.
So, speaking on beef and stuff like that, because of me being Rodney Hash, I do want to ask you, so do you have any cops at your gym?
Yeah, we have lots of police officers. We got a little bit of everything. We got
stoners?
Yep.
You ever seen any ill will among stoners and cops?
No, everyone gets along.
Me either. Isn't that weird how that works? How the the stoner community and the police community generally, there's a lot of animosity there from a lot of history. However, when we're all out there and we're all in the gym, like, it doesn't matter anymore. And it really helped me to realize and to kind of understand that not every cop's a bad cop. Like, just going to jiu-jitsu. I used to leave Buckeye Relief, the cultivation facility, and go straight to Helson Gracie, where they're a majority cop ran gym. Like, Mark is a police officer. I think he's like a lieutenant or a sergeant or something like that. He runs that gym. The amount of police that are there but the Adopt a Cop BJJ program, or just the discounts that he gives them and stuff like that. It's a lot of cops. So when I come in there and I'm smelling like weed, I'm nose blind to it. I've been in the garden all day. I change my clothes and roll with them for 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes. And then, may have gotten a couple of smells jokes or something like that, but nothing.
I can confirm it does smell like weed in here.
Nose blind.
Yeah. I would say this. Individually, every police officer that I know, I wouldn't like define them or describe them as a police officer. And I think that in the same way, like, everyone that smokes cannabis isn't the same. And obviously, like, it's an obvious statement to you, right? Like it's not like, oh, you're a stoner, you do X, Y, and Z. Like, it's just, that's a thing people do. It's a job. The only thing that I would generalize is nurses. I'm just kidding. But I think that generally speaking, people like to put people in boxes and group them. And usually that's not the case. I think that's unfair to both stoners and police officers, because I feel like genuinely, if you were to take any of the police in my gym and just talk to them about, video games, you wouldn't immediately be like, this guy's a cop or this guy's ICE or, whatever. Like, you wouldn't know that, in the same way that I don't think that you'd immediately just assume that a lot of the stoners at my gym are stoners. Even if you could like smell it, maybe you think it was somebody else, We have a lot of articulate, smart guys from all walks of life and all kinds of occupations. So I think that, there's a trope of jiu-jitsu brings felons and cops and lawyers and kids together. And I think that's true. I think that's one of the cooler things about it, where
exactly
you can chill out and meet people from a different walk of life than you normally would and have some pretty good bonds and friendships.
And on that note, it's actually kind of funny because I feel like the stereotype or box that people put in for jiu-jitsu is usually like, oh, we're just a bunch of meatheads and stuff like that. And it's like, nah, man, like you said, there's a large diversity of stuff. I mean, like,
I feel like jiu-jitsu is mostly nerds, not meatheads. But
exactly.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
It's a nerd sport. You got to think about it. It's like on the mat, it's like a chess match every time. It's a live action, high intensity chess match. Like, there's a lot of strategy involved. Like, once you really break it down and understand it at the level of like, well, what is a guard? What is every single position, and then how do you advance from that position to the next position? Like, it's chess. It really is. It's a strategy game. So it's like the meathead that doesn't think, that just uses brute force, usually isn't the guy that actually wins the tournament. Like,
I think that, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I always kind of joke, like, if you're like a real athlete, you're playing a real sport. And so, like, the athletic specimens, especially big guys, that's why the UFC heavyweight division is usually so shallow, is because they're all playing football. They're playing basketball, right? And so you get guys that are kind of left over. There was a guy that I used to train with. So at one point when I was a teenager, I did like ninjutsu. That was kind of my entry. So I did a lot of ninjutsu, Bujinkan ninjutsu, like playing with knives and stuff. But there was this one guy that came over. I can't remember his last name, but his first name was Devante. But he was the most athletic person I'd ever trained with in my life. This dude could do 500 push-ups one go, super good conditioning. We would spar, not with knives. And I was always just like, man, I've never like experienced like an athlete like this. And I remember one day we were sitting back and we was talking, and he played his actual means of getting money was he was a Cleveland Gladiator. So that was an arena football team. And he's like, my biggest failure in life was not making it on the Miami Dolphins, which is a professional football team. And I'm like, oh, like why didn't you make it on? He's like, well, I went to their like tryout thing and I couldn't pass the conditioning test. And I'm like, I can't even comprehend, because like football players are kind of like, not all of them look like they're in shape, you know, but even those kind of heavier set football players are obviously able to run like a pretty solid 5 or 10K. And that really opened my mind to like the level of athlete that you're typically getting in jiu-jitsu. And so when you have a guy, just kind of picking a local talent, Dante Leone, that dude's working out like 500 times a day because he's a real athlete. And that's, I think, why he's like pound for pound #1 in the world right now.
Again, shout out to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, jiu-jitsu still has an athleticism problem. And I would even say, like, at the level that I'm competing at of over the hill black belts, like, you know, there's a difference between like a 24-year-old black belt and a, you know, black belt in their 30s, where it's like you just don't have the same kind of conditioning in the same way. Mm-hmm. But the new crop of black belts that are getting their black belt when they're like 18, 19, because they've been doing it their whole, they're going to be, they're going to be the true, like, setting records and being more total well-rounded athletes. Something that I candidly don't think that I am.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like the Cole Abate, I feel like there's just going to be a lot of those guys that are coming up. I mean, I seen it when I was very consistent in going to every gym. Like, there's definitely, like, almost every gym has a couple of like these 16-year-olds. There's the kid over here at 440, I can't remember his name, but I mean, he's a juvenile, 16, 17, competing on adult cards and winning them consistently.
Is that Francis Sweeney?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
I know the people at your gym better than you do. That's crazy.
That's not my gym, technically.
What's your
technically,
gym?
I'm homeless right now. I'm not been doing it consistently because my career is a swing shift career. We're 2 weeks of day shift, 2 weeks of night shift, and it's not prone to the schedule of the gyms around here.
What are your night shift jobs?
It's a factory job.
Okay, hell yeah.
Same job as the day shift one, but
I didn't know if you were moonlighting as like a Fed.
No, God no. As much as people seem to think that, because I've been doing like journalism reporting on stuff that's been going on in the industry lately. I don't know why. Yeah. People think just because I call the police and I'm like, hey, I need an open records request, they're like, oh, you're working with the cops, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to clear this guy because like there's no reason that anyone should be going to jail for weed, and I'm seeing people going to jail for weed, getting arrested for it at events. We voted on this years ago, and they passed SB 56 to undo half of what we voted on. I mean, like, technically right here, if I gave you an eighth, it's legal. Now, if we go up the street over to the park over there and we're walking and I'm like, hey man, do you want to have this joint? Technically that's illegal now. Like, I don't think that's what any of us voted on. But that's a whole nother can of worms that I could just unload on.
We'll keep it jiu-jitsu related.
Oh, man. So, actually, let's talk about the car jiu-jitsu thing a little bit more. So, when I competed in the car jiu-jitsu there with you, I don't even think that was your first one, right?
If it was outside,
it was outside.
Well, actually, all the first ones, it was the GNC Sonoma. We had done the first car jiu-jitsu match was Adam and I, and then I think Evan was in there with us, Evan Graham, and then that was it. It was just the three of us.
The guy that wore the Nacho Libre mask.
No, that was the masked fighter. Yeah, that wasn't. Fighter. Yeah, that was a UFC fighter. No, Evan's a blue belt out of our gym. Probably close to getting his purple belt soon. He's curly hair. He's like 165, maybe 6'1". He's lean. He's a good dude. But we did that. We did a couple like one-off like car jiu-jitsu things, and then we did a tournament after everyone had like tried it a couple times. That was, I mean, it's crazy to think about. It was over 2 years ago now. But it was a 16-person bracket. It ended up being Uriah Burzins and Tyler Whitreich in the finals, and those were some real solid back and forth matches. But we got into it because we saw some Russian dudes doing it, and I'm like, well, I got a car I don't care about. Turns out, like, one thing I would tell you, I was gonna rent a McLaren and have us do car jiu-jitsu in it. But,
I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, after we did, my Sonoma's dashboard got so smashed in. Every single air conditioning vent was butchered by the end of that tournament. But the second car jiu-jitsu thing was going to be a rented McLaren, because I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? But that Sonoma after that tournament was undrivable. I had to get rid of it. And I was using that as like my hauling vehicle, so I had to get another truck.
That's wild.
Which is why we ended up... we also had somebody called the city of Parma on us because we were fighting. We had a bunch of people surrounding a car fighting in it in a parking lot, and our liability insurance got wind of that. And so we asked the liability insurance, like, what's the issue? And they're like, well, you don't have liability insurance that covers the parking lot, was their answer. So when we moved into our new location, that's like 10,000 square feet, big garage doors, we put in a Dodge Durango that barely ran, and we just use that only for car jiu-jitsu. So the windshield's knocked out of it now. Does not have much of a center console left. There's fewer parts of the kayak rack on top left. It's being well loved.
Yeah, definitely.
Still has gas in it.
You've slowly put like little like safety things on it and stuff too. I've noticed.
We've foamed it out. Yeah, we foamed it out quite a bit, especially after like the center console can still cut you up a little bit, but when the windshield came out, we were like, we gotta make this look different. When
I did the car jiu-jitsu thing with you guys at the parking lot, dude, I pulled guard, and that was the worst thing you could do in a car is pull guard. Yeah. I found that out because I went across the center console like 3 times.
You know, in the Durango tournament, I would say that a lot of people won via guard. Stefan got a triangle, and actually Epifanio this Saturday or this Sunday got a straight ankle, I believe.
Of course he did.
In the middle row, so he pulled. He went against Derek. I actually just put that video out yesterday, and I for the promo thing, I found 2 pictures of them from like 10 years ago, like mirror selfies, and I used those as like the fight tail of the tape picture.
I thought I seen that in the chat. So this is also like one of the things I love about you is you're just an absolute troll in the best of ways. As you made a comment in the group chat, something along the lines of like, anytime I meet someone, I add their Facebook.
No, I download. Yeah, if I meet somebody, just on the off chance I might need it, I download every picture of them on their Facebook page and their mom's Facebook page and their grandmother's Facebook page, because like you never know when you're gonna like, because like sometimes you never talk to that person again, right? But then sometimes they end up being an important person of your life. And somewhere in between knowing them for several years, they realize their internet footprint's wild and they comb it. And then 2 years after that, I pull out a picture of them from middle school and they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, yeah, man, just in case. Just in case. You got to do that. Like, because otherwise people won't think that you care about them. You know, I'm a very sentimental man, and I want people to know that I care about them in a non-stalking way.
Non-stalking.
Because I care, you know. I
love it.
A lot of people say this when you're down in DTW, is at downtown Willoughby. Mm-hmm. If you go to the Yard, that's a bar down there?
Yep.
I bet you $1 that if you ask anyone at DTW on a weekend about Daddy Tackle, they'll say he's a sentimental guy.
You guys heard it.
Yeah. That's only between him and me, and it's only redeemable for $1. So yeah, I don't know.
So I would still recommend going down to the Yard in downtown Willoughby and asking everyone about Daddy Tackle.
Yeah, it is the worst bar on the planet, but
actually, ironically enough, low-key, like I don't even drink when I go out, but if I do go out, usually I go to like Fats or something like that to get drinks. I've noticed in a lot of the other bars down there, it's people claim that like you get headaches or that they're watering down other liquor in other bars, and I'm like, I don't know how true it is, but I don't know. That's just what I do.
I'm a West Sider, so like everything on the East Side is shady and bad.
That's why everyone comes out to Willoughby. It's just outside of like Cleveland's not.
Yeah, I throw Menor in that too. All of it's confusing. What city are we in?
Technically like Willoughby.
Yeah, see, it's all bad.
So it's funny because I actually grew up out in like Ashtabula County.
Okay.
And like all the W's over here, like Wickliffe, Willoughby, Willowick, I used to get them all confused, and still to this day I'm like, dude, I don't know like which one we're in half the time because everything overlaps. And if you ever looked at the map, dude, like if you go down Lost Nation, you go from Willoughby through Eastlake back into Willoughby again, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
Who the fuck made the map like this? Why is it not like a block?
You know, I could tell you. So I know a lot about the history of like the west part of Cleveland, and I believe this was all just considered to be East Cleveland, but all those like western suburbs that are like Bay Village, Avon, North Olmsted, Westlake, Rocky River, Fairview. That was all called Dover, and then Parma was like. Parma, obviously, Middleburg Heights, Independence, Broadview, all the Seven Hills, all that, even to like Garfield Heights and all that. And then there was Cleveland. And then as they were getting like separated, my understanding is a lot of those zoning laws were to protect like the ruling class of that time. So people that were from the Dolan or the family, the Carnegie family, Rockefeller family. Yeah. And that's how you ended up with cities on the east side like Gates Mills. There's some other like old money like neighborhoods over there, but it all kind of traces back to like those families. But the west side was always like kind of poorer than the east side. I would even say that to this day it's kind of the same. Obviously, like the nice houses on the lake for like Lakewood, Rocky River, Bay Village, Avon, they're still nice, but it's not like we don't have the same kind of like $20 million like houses hidden in the valley, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that's really weird about Cleveland is like we have like Bracknell, but then we have like everything. So Eddie Road goes into Bracknell. Like Bracknell is the nicest community in Cleveland. That's where like the LeBrons, when they live here, like that's where they live, is up in that area. And then Eddie Road is known for like literally MGK wrote a song about Eddie Road because everyone knows Eddie Road is like crack central. So it's wild the way Cleveland is.
I think I was driving north from the art museum just trying to get home without using maps, and I ended up like going through like because obviously Case's campus touches the art museum, and then you go north of that and then it's a impoverished area in a scary way, and then you're in Bracknell. Yeah. If you just keep going up, and that's how you get onto 2, and then you can go back to the west side where it's civilized.
It's so weird. So the same thing happens if you go to Coventry area. Coventry area is beautiful. It's nice. Like you'd think that like there's just money over here, but then you got to go through Collinwood to get there.
Yeah, Coventry is like right next to Case's campus though too, right?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe it's like right.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like butted up against.
I feel like people that like live on that main drag in Coventry, where it like starts with the grog shop, and is there still a Korean barbecue place over there?
I believe so.
Heck yeah, we should go. And then you go north and you hit that very popular cemetery that if you match with a young lady that goes a case on Hinge or Tinder, they'll be like, "Do you want to go for a walk in the cemetery?" And I'm like, I don't know, maybe. But it's just kind of that's a first date that most case lit young ladies asked me for when I was still dating case young ladies.
Are they goth girls or?
I mean, come on. Of course they're goth girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see it then.
No, they're not always. It's alt girls. Like they're not like like basic women, I guess.
Yeah.
You got to have a little bit of spice. Yeah.
I actually like it, but that's
I think that a normal woman would not be interested in me based on everything I do.
I mean, they'll know she knows that you can choke her.
Yeah, I typically don't do that. Like I try really not to do jiu-jitsu even on like, and anyone that doesn't want to do jiu-jitsu, like, cause I find that like that's a bad habit that even some of my, I don't really call the people at Tackle students. I could just call them my friends, but my friends at Tackle, like every once in a while they'll get rowdy and they'll start rear naked choking each other at a bar. And like that, and it's like two jiu-jitsu guys that are like with it. Still not the best environment for that. So I really try to
get weird about that.
Yeah, I really suggest if you have the ability to do all of your jiu-jitsu inside of a gym or some sort of arena where everyone else is doing jiu-jitsu. Like nobody, even people that like jiu-jitsu and do jiu-jitsu, nobody wants jiu-jitsu done to them when they're not expecting jiu-jitsu to be done to them.
No, not normally.
Yeah, I really strongly believe in like.
But it's nice to know how to do it when it happens and you're in a situation where you don't want to do jiu-jitsu, but then you kind of have to do jiu-jitsu.
How many times have you ever had to do jiu-jitsu in a self-defense situation in the world?
So, a couple.
Okay.
I can give you a couple. So, some I interjected myself. One, 100% was like, So, when downtown Willoughby, there was a school down there at where the big V split is, and it had a one-way drive-through for the buses to go through. Now, playing Pokemon Go down there was a big thing for me. Me, my cousin, and my cousin's at the time girlfriend were all driving through there. You know, it's a parking lot, so we're going slow. We come up to the exit only. I stop the car. I'm like, all right, hold on, let me catch this real quick. And then some asshole decides to pull through with his truck. And he thinks that he's going to squeeze in a space this big with his truck that he can't. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So I'm like pointing at the exit only sign, and he keeps inching forward. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So eventually he gets like literally to the corner of my car. He's about to hit my car. So I roll down my window and I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, don't fucking hit my car. What are you doing? And he decided to get out of his car and grab my door, open my door. At this point, I already knew, like, all right, let's see what's going on. So I go to unbuckle. As I unbuckle, I let go the seatbelt. He's grabbing me by the collar. As he grabbed me by the collar, pulled me out of the car, I stepped out with it. And he went to throw this giant punch. And I just grabbed it and grabbed his shirt. I'm like, dude, you don't want to do this. Stop. And then he threw the other wide hook, like people that don't know how to fight do. And I hip tossed him and got him in a headlock and kind of was like, all right, now we're done, right? And then he's like, no, what the fuck? I'm going to beat your... I'm like, dude, what do you... Like, you literally have nothing. His friend gets out of his car. My cousin gets out of his car, or gets out of my car. And, like, he's like, oh, I can hit you with this other arm. And I'm like, dude, like, I can literally, like, just... Like, I can poke your eyes out. I have full control of you right now. Just, you're going to... here's what's going to happen. I'm going to let you up. You're going to go in your car. You're going to back out. I'm going to drive out. And we're going to be done with our day. And that's exactly what happened. As weird as that is, dude even shook my hand.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I've never used jiu-jitsu IRL. Like, I think that it's, like, not a good self-defense.
What do you mean?
I just don't think that it's, like, very applicable. Like, I feel like it's a sport. I think that a lot of, especially, like, the way I do jiu-jitsu, it's, like, very just, like...
I mean, if you pull guard, maybe, but...
Yeah, I'm not trying to, like, subdue anyone, but, like, I just know I don't find myself in situations where, like, anyone even, like, will fight me in public, you know? Yeah. I gotta, like, pay them a $5 Sheets gift card to fight me in a car, you know? But it's, like, I just have never... I just live a different, like, a much simpler life where, like, I just don't even see people that often like that, you know?
I guess. I was just playing Pokemon, man. I was not expecting it at all.
Yeah, I know.
That shit happens. I mean... No one expects that to happen, and I pray that doesn't ever have to happen to anyone, including yourself, to where you have to use it. But, I mean, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
For sure, yeah. Like I said, I think that, like, from my perspective, if somebody comes in to, like, tackle and they're like, I need to learn self-defense to thwart my enemies, I'm like, get a gun. You know, like, I just don't... I just feel like it's just such a silly... Like, even, like, boxing, which I feel like might be a little bit more applicable to, like, street fighting. Like, just get some mace or something. Like, don't try, because I feel like when you start, like, if you really, like, try engaging with somebody in a fight, then you're fighting, you know, as opposed to trying to de-escalate it. And I think that when people get more confident in their fighting ability, they're more willing to get into a fight. And I think that kind of does people a disservice, you know?
I think most people that start fights, and in my experience, almost always is the person almost always starting the fight is someone who doesn't know how to fight.
For sure, yeah, for sure. But I think that, I don't know. I feel like sometimes like hip toss, like the thought of hip tossing somebody on concrete almost is liability for you. You know, you gotta move them to the grass. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I just, again, I'm not in public spaces where people are like existing. So
the reason that I would encourage someone to use jiu-jitsu as a self-defense is specifically because it's about control. Yeah. Like, I'm not... Now, if you've got, like, a group of people, no, like, you're fucked. Like you get the fuck out of there. Like you said, get a gun. Like but like if we're talking like someone just runs up and grabs you from behind because they're fucking a lunatic, like there's things you can do to get out of it through grappling.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I agree. Like I said, I don't think it's like it's not useless. It's just like whenever somebody's like, I'm here for self defense, I'm like, can you go somewhere else? Like I feel like that kind of energy is like not the vibe I want. You know, I want to keep it like sporty, and like Krav Maga has a lot of that. And
oh man, don't get me started on Krav Maga.
Listen,
Krav
like
Maga is,
I think there's positives and negatives to all martial arts, including Tai Chi and all that, and Kung Fu, whatever. But like Krav Maga is like definitely a self-defense oriented art where there's not a lot of sparring. And I feel like that gives a lot of people a false sense of security in their combat skills. And then they're willing to like fight back. And for me, it's like, I don't know.
But that's also why I say that like someone who actually knows how to fight, that has actually spent time sparring in any way, whether it be just an open mat rolling or an actual sparring like boxing, like you're less likely to actually want to fight because you're like, hey, like even if I win, like I might skin my knee on the way down. Like Helson Gracie, his knee's fucked. Yeah, he won that fight, but his knee is still to this day like it's fucked.
Yeah, I feel like anyone that trains doesn't want to fight because they're just perpetually tired and sore. You know, like the thought of like somebody like I would just give them money if they were like mugging me. I'd be like, let me keep my ID. Here's all my money. If you take the card, I'll just cancel it. So you might as well let me keep that. But like, I'm so tired right now. The thought of like scuffling with you.
Do you know how bad that would fuck someone up that's like trying to rob you? They're like, come on, give me your money. And you're like, all right. I mean, I guess just like, you're just
listen, if they need the money that bad, I feel like having a little bit of empathy. Again, I'm not suggesting like that robbing's okay, but like, I don't know. I just think that like my first thought isn't like, all right, double leg takedown, baby. Like, all right, we're going to shoot a high crotch. We're going to dump this piece of shit on his head. You know, like, it's just not a thought that I have.
No.
But people don't want to fight me. I don't know. Something, maybe I smell.
Maybe it's Sheets gift card is just not enticing enough
to
fight a pro.
Yeah, I guess. Sad. What a sad life I live.
Oh man. So what else have you guys done in the Tackle Grappling League? So we've done the car jiu-jitsu, which has evolved. You're still doing that, right? Like you're still doing.
Yeah, well, we did a car jiu-jitsu match after the last one. So I think the future of how we do things, because we have a lot of games that we play in Tackle that are very unique and they're fun, they're competitive, but they also give you like the light. Like when you lose a 2-on-2 match, it's like, you know, it's whatever. It's not like it's not the same kind of like you're letting yourself down in a super fight. What I would say is that we're going to have another card for sure next. I would expect that to be a card jiu-jitsu tournament, but we have open mat at Tackle from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Friday, no matter what. And I think that maybe after July is over, because I'm doing a lot of traveling in July, we're going to have like one-off fights and start like really ranking people in car jiu-jitsu and in normal jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And we'll use that to have like contender fights, and then we'll have the car jiu-jitsu tournament as its own separate thing. But we'll go back to that league mentality, but it will look and function a little bit more like how the UFC does its rankings, as opposed to trying to have everyone enter a league and get them to commit to a certain amount of time. But you know, if you beat number 7 ranked car jiu-jitsu guy, then maybe you take a spot, right?
Yeah.
And so all that ties into another project that we have called Pro Grappler. So prograppler.com is a BJJ and combat sports news website. You can go to prograppler.com, prograppler.com. Dan Hughes, which is a Tackle purple belt, is the CEO and lead editor. He's like writing articles 5 times a week, and there's a lot of like fun ones. Like he did like lessons that watching One Piece, the anime, can give you about jiu-jitsu. He does a lot of.
That's pretty cool. I'm definitely interested in that one. I'm a One Piece person.
Yeah, so he's covered a lot of like kind of anime crossover things. He's done a lot of articles. He does a lot of satire too, which obviously it's marked as satire, but he's funny, and he'll do things about, like, he actually put one after the clear belt tournament we just did about Baja Blast and like different like energy drinks, and you know, Fago is kind of a ongoing meme at Tackle because of its ICP connection. Yeah. And he's done some non-satire articles about like BJJ legends and MMA legends like Damian Maia and Eric Paulson and Randy Couture, and they're like really thoughtful, well-written articles. I would like, if you're even kind of interested, I'd really recommend going there and just like thumbing through some of it. You know, he's just really good at what he does. So I'm really grateful that we're able to kind of work with him there. But it's also a partner. It's a way for us to partner with other like UGI and TGGL, other entities, and help them get more promotion.
Yeah.
Stout Fights we covered, 247, which in the Sunny Days Arena, that venue is really cool.
Never seen that. Where's that at?
It's in Pittsburgh. It's like it's kind of like southeast Pittsburgh, but like maybe it's up a little bit more. But it's the best venue for local BJJ cards that you could possibly imagine. The Sunny Days Arena also does like armored MMA with like the swords, like the medieval stuff.
Wow.
They do. They've done like micro wrestling events. They've done flea markets. Like they did a vintage flea market thing where some of the booths were in the cage in the center, and the venue is really designed top down for fights. So you have like the cage. You have a couple hundred seats all around the cage, and then there's a top floor that's like a ring all around it where people can stand over the railing and watch.
That's really
There's
cool.
2 bars. The prices for the food are like normal, non-event priced food. Like you can buy a sandwich for $5.
And they do local fights.
Yeah, they do. They do MMA. They do kickboxing. They do BJJ. They do medieval fighting. They do pro wrestling. They do vintage flea markets. They do everything.
That's actually really cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like I didn't know that we.
It's a hidden gem. I don't think it's going to be hidden for forever. Honestly, like the guy that I talked to over there is Hunter. I think that he owns it, but he's sharp. Like, I mean, not that other people aren't, but he's so organized and he cares, and it shows in every event that he's done there.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the only thing that makes me wish that I lived closer to Pittsburgh, because it's such a cool place and it's such a special thing.
Yeah.
You know, if I had all the money in the world, I might try to like emulate that in Cleveland.
I actually do want to touch on one thing. So way earlier, you made a comment about like if you go to an event in Detroit or you go to, I think you said Pittsburgh was the other one, like there's tons of competitors all the time, but that the Cleveland scene's kind of like lacking as far as like competitors and stuff go. Like that actually kind of surprises me because we have a lot of gyms around here.
So I again, this is obviously just my opinion and it's anecdotal, but like we have too many gyms in Cleveland. And I'm not saying that gyms need to close down or consolidate, but the problem from a competitive standpoint is every gym seems to have like the best guy at the gym and then number 2, and then number 3 is not even close to them. And that extends to even more established gyms like Adamus. Like it's like Dante De Leon, then Max, and then there's kind of like everyone else. And they have a lot of people that are really, really good. So that's maybe a bad example, but like those,
They have really good people actually.
yeah, like Brett. I mean, I don't want to name everyone because they have so many really good people, but like there's definitely like a sense of like number 1 and number 2, and I feel like you can put that kind of you can put that on every gym in Cleveland where you have like one of their main competitors and then their up and coming competitor. And they have other guys that kind of compete. Maybe they're less active. Maybe they're injured, but every gym only has 2 guys. And so going back to the old days where it was like Strong Style, Hurricane, Griffin Roll, and then everyone else was just kind of getting started up, you had a bunch of really high level competitors training with each other. So people don't like hang out with each other in the same way they do. And a lot of like the big names in Cleveland that like Pablo Castro, Brad Vukovitz, like they kind of got a little older. So, and that's happening to everyone else. And I feel like a lot of the people that were traveling to go to super fights out of Cleveland are now older. And so the next generation should be stepping up and doing that, but there's just fewer people that are running around and competing out of Cleveland, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, and again, everyone I've named is solid. And if I didn't name somebody, like it's not because I don't think you're solid, but like in every gym, it just feels like there's only 2 people that are competing outside of like local things, Yeah,
I know what you mean.
And so
it's usually like a small. Well, but also if we're talking about like things outside of like local events, I feel like people don't want to travel because again, this boils back to like, what am I really getting out of it? Like, am I like Dante's awesome. He's like number one pound for pound, but he's not like a billionaire or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you. But you used to see that a lot more. Like when you look at IBJJFs, I feel like that's really fallen off. And that you used to like go to tournaments in Detroit. And I remember at a time where somebody's like, oh, that guy's from Strong Style, he's going to be very good. And you almost psyched people out just because of where you're from. And it's like, oh, he's from Cleveland. Like those guys are good at wrestling, or you'd hear that. Mm-hmm. I've been to tournaments the last 2 years in like Kentucky or Indiana or Pennsylvania. And they're like, oh, he's from Cleveland. This guy's probably sucks. And that makes me feel bad. You know, I don't like that because that's not how it used to be. In like 2017, it was the opposite. Yeah. And I think that what happened was, you know, and even like even Emil was a big Cleveland like name in his time when he was competing a lot, and he went to Polaris and he did a lot of things. Mm-hmm. You don't like, there's just not a lot of big personalities here. And I think the biggest litmus test for that are fight to wins in Cleveland. They used to be stacked. I mean, there was a fight to win in 2016, 2017 that was like all upper belt down for the most part, huge like grudge matches and fights. People like, it was stacked. It was packed for people that wanted to spectate it because they wanted to see what was going on. And there was a little bit of drama that fueled some of those matches and whatnot. Yeah. And
but I think that's also the things that again bring spectators in. They're like, ooh, like I want to see like Emil talk so much shit to this guy. I can't wait to see this. Like,
and there's still like Mark Vives is one of those guys I'm thinking of. He I think he's a Columbus guy. Like BJ Nelson, like those are big personalities that would come up here and like really like scrap. I would even say Columbus is kind of like in a similar spot to Cleveland is right now, as opposed to like if you go to like the Boston scene, or obviously like Texas has a huge following now, and like LA grappling's at a different level, Miami grappling's at a different level. You know, I would just like to see Cleveland kind of hold its own because we're near Penn State, we're near Michigan, we're near OSU. Yep. We have a lot of resources, Westside Barbells in Ohio, like.
Yeah, seriously.
There's no reason that Cleveland can't be like really on the map. And I think the reason why Cleveland has kind of shifted recently is because the people are all dispersed and everyone wants to be like the guy at their gym. And I obviously like I would fall into that stereotype as well to some extent, but like we need to cross train more. And that was kind of the spirit of TGGL. But the problem is that like you get territorial and then you don't want your guys moving over, and like sometimes it makes sense when people move. Like we had one guy switch gyms to us because he lived 5 minutes away. Yep. It wasn't that I poached him; it's that he could walk to the gym. It's different, you know. Yeah. So like that's like kind of an example of like what goes down. But
so I will say from personal experience, a lot of gyms are. I'd say it's like 80-20. A lot of gyms are open and willing to accept new people, but then there's like that 20% that are like, you literally can't even pay to go to, like, you can't go to an open mat at their gym. The ones that tend to wall themselves off and create a walled garden usually have the worst jiu-jitsu. It's the guys like 440, like yourselves, that you're like, yeah, I want you to cross-train. I want you to go to other gyms. And it's usually the guys that do cross-train and do go to other gyms that I've noticed tend to be the best as far as, like, their overall, the game. Like, not just like, hey, I'm focusing on this one thing to get one specific move and one specific takedown and one specific, and I want to be the master of that one. It's usually the guys who do go to other gyms. Like, how many gyms does Nikolai go to? Like so many gyms, and it shows. His game is so diverse compared to a lot of other athletes in the area that don't cross train. I really don't like when people discourage cross training. Epifanio, for a long time, he only ever went to like Helsin, or when he went to 440, he'd only go to 440. Now I have seen him go to yours a little bit more often, which I've been pushing him to do that, and you see his game grow. Mm-hmm. Granted, game in general has just grown a lot in general over the years. But.
Yeah, man. I think that like it's hard to have this conversation without naming specific gyms, and I'm not willing to do that right now. But like,
you're good. You don't have to.
I definitely don't think it's 80-20, and I definitely think there are gyms that have competitors that are locked away from cross training, or they don't have interest in cross training. That's also a possibility.
Yeah.
but
I think it's a little bit of both on that too. I think that even if they are thinking about cross training, I will say there's definitely coaches that discourage it, especially to their top performers, that they're like, I'm molding you to do this. You don't want to go learn. The worst thing that I hear from them is you don't want to go learn bad habits. And I'm like, no, that's so dumb. Like,
yeah, but when you're cross training, you're usually not like attending a class. You're usually doing like an open mat or doing active like drills from positions, like, I don't know.
Personally, I would go to Revolution Fighting and Fitness and go take one of George's class or go to a seminar. Or, I mean, like,
I guess that's true.
Different points of view. I mean, like, you could have 10 people show you how to finish the rear naked choke, and they're all going to show you different details. They're going to be like, oh, well, I do it this way, or I do it that way, or I don't like to hide my hand. I don't like to do this or that, or just little things that are like, oh,
yeah, but you pick that up in rolling too, like I feel like I've had a lot of like good rolls with people from, I'll pick 440 because I'm very friendly with that gym. Like if I'm rolling with like Tim, like afterwards we talk about like where we went, not that I'm opposed to attending a class. I just find that
there's a lot of people that won't take that time and talk afterwards, and I think that makes all the difference.
Yeah, but again, I think that like 440 has a very healthy culture. Tackle, I obviously I have a bias, but like very healthy culture.
I would agree.
And I think that, it's tough because I don't think that 440 is a heavily monetized gym. And I don't think that Tackle is a heavily monetized gym. And I think that's why. But there's other gyms that have good competitors that are out there doing things, but they're not integrating with the community because they're heavily monetized and they don't want to threaten that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's at the most generous, I would say 50-50. And so I think that that's like, that's been a major challenge, because even with our open mats, so we don't charge for open mat. I even tell people like, I don't want you to, if you are like a blue belt at so-and-so gym, I don't want you to join. Like I don't want a membership. Don't buy a t-shirt. Don't buy a rash guard. Like just come in here, get your rounds, wear your team, and then leave. Like we want to have that like healthy competition,
Would you believe that I got kicked out of a gym because we're not going to say names.
Yeah.
But I got kicked out of a gym. I was training in 2 different gyms. You may already have figured it out. But I wore the one's rash guard into the other ones, and I was asked to basically make a choice between the two. And that's really uncomfortable. And it really does. I'll be honest, I think that kind of like hindered my jiu-jitsu career in a lot of ways. It makes me not want to go to that gym as often. Like I've mended ties with that gym since then, but like it put a real sour taste in my mouth for a really long time. And it's still kind of, I don't know. I still feel some type of way, but
obviously I believe you because of the amount of people that come into our gym and they're like, is it okay that I wear this? And I'm like, yeah, dude, you wear whatever you want, as long as it's
silly. It's like, dude, do you know how many people only have one rash guard?
Well, you're an adult that pays for a service. Like, I just couldn't imagine, like, any other business wouldn't operate that way, but there's such a weird cult mentality around jiu-jitsu. And I feel like I make this joke a lot, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people I really like that still kind of succumb to this kind of posting, but you never see somebody being like, I fell in love with the sport of basketball at the Westlake YMCA, but after a lot of time and consideration, I've decided to take my career to the Middleburg Heights Rec Center. It's like you're playing co-ed after school or after work basketball, and you're like in your mid-30s. Like you're a blue belt. It's not a career. And I'm not minimizing the journey or any of that, but like...
No, it's important. It's personal growth. It's not supposed to be like I'm trying to be a famous athlete.
But these posts that people make, people that I love, are insane. They're insane. And so when they treat their training as like this full-fledged career where they're like really obsessive about it, I think that they're putting themselves in a position to be discouraged, to give up, to be like bitter, to be jealous. And I feel like if you just focus on making friends and having fun and, trying to win, but like not getting not crashing out when you lose, you'll have a much better time. But you're also not going to go to like a YMCA basketball league wearing something from a rec center, and they're going to be like, "Whoa, don't wear that in my rec center." Basketball's not. No other sports like that.
So I will say, like, football. Like if you wear like a Steelers jersey to a Browns game, like you're probably gonna get like.
But that's like
comments.
a fan thing. That's not a participant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm saying, like, I feel like people take it on too much. Like they're like, no, this is like, but even then, like there isn't the same rivalry. Like that doesn't make sense because like the athletes, even if there's beef between like owners, why does that fall to the athletes? Like that doesn't. It just don't make no sense.
Yeah, people in groups kind of suck. Individually, every person's really cool. So it's just, I think that's really what that comes down to.
For the most part, I feel like that also falls way back to the stoners cops conversation and everything. Like
exactly.
It's hard to, when you start generalizing anything, things become very black-pilled very quick because it's human tendency to focus on the negatives of a group, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but
yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that's one thing again that I really love about you and your culture that you've got over there is it's about fun. Like all this negativity of the culture that we're talking about, I don't see that at your gym, and that's why I wanted to have you on and talk about all this stuff because I want people to see like, hey, like you can have a lot of fun doing jiu-jitsu. Like I have seen,
it's a game. Yeah, it's a game. You got to treat it like a game though. And you can't treat it like a career or like if you take it too seriously, you're not going to have like a super fun time. And
the guys that are at blue belt that lose a match and like have the equivalent of like the wrestler throwing his headgear across the mat.
You see that at white belt, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, even at black belt, no one's counting your losses. Like look at Max Hansen. Yeah. Like I can't remember who it was, Owen or something like that, was like, oh, look how many losses you have. Look at who you lost to, this guy or that guy. And it's like, yeah, because that guy's going out there and competing like 60 some times a year.
Yeah, Max, like I think it was like maybe last year or the year before, like Max competed more than like anyone else, but he was like competing every weekend. I remember he's a young dude, but like I was like, I couldn't imagine like how bad it must feel to be his joints, you know. But nothing but respect for him, you know. But yeah, I think that you shouldn't be ashamed of like losing, and I think that it's normal. And if you're not losing, it probably means you are not competing at the level that you should be competing at, because like even at the tippy top, those guys are losing. You know, they're not winning. There's not a single person that's winning everything right now. 100%. Gordon's not competing, so. So yeah,
I mean, if we're being real, even when we go back down to Gordon, like. With that fight with Nicky, like he should have lost that. He had his ankle broken, dude. Like he should have tapped, but he let his ankle break. So I mean, like you can't. I guess
what a cool win. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I get that. I think that like.
So I mean, if we're counting that as a loss, even Gordon's lost. Like there is no losing if you look at it correctly. There's just learning. That's what the L is. It's a learn. It's a win and a learn.
Yeah.
I learn more when I lose than I do when I win. If I win, that means that everything that I've done in my algorithms is correct. If I lose, that shows me like, hey, I'm doing some math wrong and I need to figure out where I'm doing this math. Let's look back at the drawing board and let's really break this down. And that's honestly where I find the most fun in jiu-jitsu is like, again, breaking it down like a strategy game and being able to be like, oh, or after a roll when you're like, oh, dude, we got in this really weird situation. I've never been here before. I don't know if this is like a twister situation or whatever, but like, let's go back to that and break it down and like evaluate everything. Like, what could I have done? What if I rolled this way, am I safe? If I roll that way, am I safe? Like it's the sense of progression. It's the sense of learning. It's the controlling your body. Like there's so much about it that there's a reason that it becomes an addiction in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, addictions.
Yeah, to some extent. Obsessions, maybe, is a better way to put it. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's your guys' schedule look like over there at Tackle?
So Mondays and Wednesdays are like our normal no-gi after work days, 6:30 p.m. We do like a little open mat after that every day. They're striking at 5:30 p.m. those days before then. Gi is Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday is no-gi, Sunday is gi, and then Fridays we have open mat. We have a lot of like other training throughout the day, but it's usually member only, like smaller groups, more intentional training. So when you become a member at Tackle, you get invited to a Discord server where you find out that half the gym has a key and is in the gym at that moment in time training. So
I like that though, honestly, like, 'cause
it's a clubhouse. It's not a gym.
Thing that I don't like about a lot of gyms is like, I don't feel like I have like not quite 24-hour access, but like, yeah, I would like 24-hour access. Honestly, I would like to be able to like, hey, if I've got like 3 other guys that like, we're not all white belts that are going to hurt each other intentionally, but as
long as Adam and I know what's going on that day at the gym, we're usually pretty cool with like most things, like you can't bring a Tinder date there and do something with her in the Durango. That would not be okay. But, just because you don't have another place to do that doesn't mean that the Durango can be that, because then I have to clean the Durango. But
why do I have a feeling like this is an experience thing?
No, of course not. That wouldn't happen at Tackle. But yeah, I mean, again, we're friends. Like, you're part of one of our group chats, which is kind of a little unhinged. Like, I love it. We have many more, but at the end of the day, it's a club. We're friends. That's it.
Yeah. That's all love, and that's what I love about it. Is again, it's so much fun just to be there, to be in the room, just to hang around all the guys, and it's not like it's. I mean, it seemed like girls are pretty comfortable there too, in all honesty.
We need more women to have like a true like women's program, but yeah, we've never had like a problem. Like, knock on wood, we never had anyone be creepy. We still don't have any black belts that are trying to bang on their students, which is something that I'm going to try my hardest to prevent forever. But
I can't believe that some of that stuff is going on.
Happens a lot. Happens more than you think, but not at Tackle.
Popping off more and more lately. I've been seeing more and more gyms. What was it, Andre Galvano or whatever, over in the California? Like, that was a huge gym with tons of affiliations that now a lot of those affiliations are just gone because dude wants to be. Yeah. Was it like a groomer situation or something?
There's a lot of that. Yeah. Like I said, I don't even want to get into all those, but like, if you look up like BJJ and like Sex Pest, you'll have like 1,000 different cases of it. So, but that's not Tackle. It never will be Tackle, because it's a flat hierarchy. So everyone checks everyone, not just for like weird sexual things, but like if somebody's like being in a pissy mood, like we check each other, because you check in on your friends. You're like, hey man, why are you being uncool right now?
Yeah.
And that's important.
It is, because you never know what someone's going through in life. I mean, like, they could be struggling with something that they don't want to talk about, but like they need to talk about it. And sometimes it's like, hey man, you doing all right? The dude may just start breakdown crying, like, because no one else had asked. And that shit's real. That shit's happened.
For sure.
It's important to be there for your friends and loved ones.
I recently stopped eating Twizzlers because of the Red 40, and I've switched to like Broadway wheels, which are a more like organic version of it, I think. And like that's been a real struggle for me, because I really want Red 40. At the end of the day, like you
like
know,
the bugs.
Bugs.
Isn't that what Red 40 is? Is like
bugs? It bugs? I thought it was a dye. Maybe it's a dye from bugs. Yeah, I didn't know. I haven't looked into it. I know there's
some red pigment that's like one of those ones that it's made from like bugs and stuff like that. It's pretty nasty.
But nobody ever asks me what I'm going through right now.
Sorry to hear
that's what I'm going through. But yeah, obviously people have people have real problems, and I think that as long as you're all friends, you can have a more open forum. But when you have like a distinct hierarchy, people might feel more uncomfortable like bringing something up to somebody that they view as their senior. But at Tackle, nobody respects our black belts, and it's always going to be that way.
I don't know if it's not respect. I just don't think anyone will put you guys on like the saying. There's some gyms where like the owners get almost put on like a pedestal.
It's like you'll hear the term like sensei on high. I've heard one person refer to himself as that in Cleveland, and I'm like, that's crazy.
I'm Professor so-and-so.
Nobody calls us professor. You get coach every once in a while, which I'm fine with. And honestly, if somebody really wanted to say professor, I personally would not like that. But, Professor Wyatt or something, who knows?
Got to come in with a lab coat for that.
Yeah, it's just not my vibe, Like, I don't think that most people, like, some people, because I'm so rarely in, like, a gi, and when I am, I'm wearing a leopard print belt, not a black belt. Like, a lot of people don't think I'm a black belt, which I think is cool. I think that's, like, good.
Yeah, but so once you hit a certain level in brown belt, it kind of gets weird, because it's like there's a lot of brown belts. What is his name? Jacob starts with a P. I can't remember his last name. Props. He's out in like Ashtabula County. Like he probably should be a black belt by now. He's competed at black belt level.
I think he is a black belt.
I'm pretty sure he's still a brown belt.
That's crazy.
The last, see my point? Like it's like there's a lot of brown. Jose, remember how long Jose was a black belt? Jose Carrillo.
Well, that's if you got to have somebody sponsor you, because Adam and I were trapped in brown belt territory for purgatory for a while because we switched gyms too many times. But yeah, you'll have that. But again, like I think that belts are just kind of silly anyways, and I think a lot of people have already kind of commented on that. But it's marketing, so
yeah, it's a real weird one with the belt system because it's like there is no like defined like set of things. But that's also why I like competition so much. As personally, like the person with the ankle locks a lot, I felt like he got his blue belt way too early. The gym that he was at originally, and I've told him this, we've had this conversation, and he's agreed. I feel like it actually stunted his growth because like he wasn't winning at a white belt level in competitions, and I knew that he wasn't ready for a blue belt competition. He wasn't even taking like a bronze in white belt competitions, and like that set him back. He moved gyms. He stopped getting those paid for stripes basically, and now the dude's killing it. It's now he's appropriately ranked. I feel like almost if a little bit under.
I think that it's just one of those things where like, you know, there's the hobbyist track where you're never going to compete, so it's more of like a time thing, and then there's a competitor track, which is like, you know, you got to win a bunch of tournaments at that belt before you move on.
I feel like even at the hobbyist, like you shouldn't be given a belt if you're at open mats.
Yeah.
And you're getting subbed by white belts left and right, and not because you're like letting yourself intentionally fall deeper into the water to like work out of it, but like you're just genuinely not that good. I don't care if you've been there for 3 years. You probably shouldn't have your
depends on the belt though, because like I could see like giving somebody like that a blue belt just so they feel more like a sense of belonging, maybe a purple belt. But like I guess like for me, I view it as like, can you, because belts were originally an instructor thing, so the idea was I need help.
3.
What?
I thought there was only 3 or 2 or 3 originally.
Yeah, I think that's
like
a judo thing. But if you like look around and you're like, I need somebody to help me out with an arm bar, you could, so any blue belt or above could help you. Or maybe I have like a more specific question. You look around, oh, let me ask that purple belt. Like it was just, I know X, Y, and Z. So like I view it kind of, because we have some guys that are just like, maybe they have like a major health issue where they're just very weak, or maybe they're like 120 pounds. So like, you know, that affects things. But if you can, you know, as like a blue belt, I want to know, can you show 3 submissions really effectively? Can you show like, what are your favorite 2 sweeps? Like show me some passes, show me a mount escape. Like, can you teach that succinctly to somebody else? And you go through all that list, like that's a blue belt. Purple belt, you know, you have to, you know, purple belt's more of like a specialist. So it's like, what are the pieces that you've really like built into your game? And like, let's say you can't execute it on like younger, stronger guys. I don't know that I wouldn't give you a purple belt because of that. So I'm trying to remember somebody, this is not something that I came up with, but somebody once said to me,
know the one you're talking
yeah,
about.
It's like a blue belt is a low level generalist. And then a purple belt is a low level specialist. And then a brown belt is a high level generalist. And then a black belt is a high level specialist.
Yeah, kind of.
Something like that. Yeah, I might be butchering it, but I think that like,
I think I know what you're saying. I think
it's like a piece of all that. But if you can like, if it's like a physical thing where like your brain can't keep up with it, and as I get older, the more I like replay certain things where like I remember being 24 and starting to beat up a lot of these guys that always used to beat me up, and like, but they were like pushing 40 at that point. And so I wonder, you know, me at blue belt, I honestly, like, sometimes I wonder, like, would me at blue belt be able to reliably submit me at black belt? And some days I feel like, yeah, probably, you know, just I didn't know as much, or maybe I wasn't as like technical, but my body, you know, has a lot of miles on it, and that is a major factor. And so if you come into the sport damaged, you know, I also put that into consideration.
Yeah. I know what you mean as far as like when you come into the sport damage, but I feel like as far as like would black belt you versus blue belt you, which one will win? I still feel like honestly your blue or black belt one, just because of the fact of again, this comes down to a strategy game. Like, there's traps that you didn't know as a blue belt that the blue belt you may have fallen into 15 times before you even realized that the trap was there. It's just, that's something that comes with experience. That's just me personally. I understand, like, athletics definitely plays into it.
For sure.
Like, that half a second reaction time plays mountains.
Yeah.
But understanding the paths and knowing where they lead, understanding that there's like this workaround that you can kind of end up at the same path, and you'll have taken less movement than that guy did, and then the next thing you know, you've got his back, and you're like, oh, now I don't have to work anywhere near as hard. I can just let you burn yourself out. And
yeah, I think that, like, because I see it, like, I get not that I'm getting the shit beaten out of me by blue belts, but like when you're a blue belt that's been a blue belt for a minute and you're starting to catch the brown and black belts at your gym, that's when I think you're ready for purple belt as a competitor.
I agree.
And like, you know, I look at like Tyler and Evan at my gym, and they're both kind of at that moment where, like, you know, Tyler will catch me for sure, and Evan will catch me for sure.
They're
and
both definitely like, very, very good athletes. Like, not just athletes, but just jiu-jitsu practitioners.
Great students, great teachers. Like, they're there. But I think that, like, I think about that a lot, because it's like, man, like, in some ways they got to clean up a lot of like habits they have, which you would think wouldn't be purple belt habits, you know. But on the other hand, like, their ability to like execute a game plan and explain what their strategy is very purple belt. And so I think, and I remember myself being around that like part when, because I was at the end of blue belts really when I started subbing black belts often, you know, or not often, but like enough where I was like at that level. Mm-hmm. But there was still so much to like, there's still so much more to go.
Yeah,
it's not like that's the
It wasn't like you had figured everything out about every area, but like you may be like a master of guard or a master of leg locks, but you may kind of suck on guard passing or something like that. Like, it's just kind of is what it is. And I feel like that's why the belt system is so hard to really understand. Like, well, why is he able to get it in a year and he took 2 years? Well, because sometimes depending on the gym, sometimes it's dependent on you as an individual, how well you perform, how well you're able to take everything in, how well you're able to execute it. But it's not like you can really be like, well, if you don't understand what a footlock is, you shouldn't be a blue belt. Like, well, maybe his gym just doesn't teach that. He just has to learn it. It may be a hole in his game, but he's still definitely a blue belt.
I think like, just to simplify it, like, you just can't put too much stock into belts. Like, I think that's just kind of the realization that I've come to, where it's like, I just don't like, because you could end up in a debate forever about that. And I just would rather be like, yeah, belts don't matter. Like, it's a relationship that you have with like your coach in your gym, and it doesn't mean anything outside of the gym.
100%. I mean, again, look at Cole Abate. Remember when he beat Gio Martinez? He was still technically a blue belt.
Right. Well, yeah, there's tons of blue belts that are day twoing at ADCC. So it's not like, again, it's just one of those things where if you don't have the belt you want, and you're at a gym or a situation where like it really matters to you, like, I would just not put that on the top 10 things that matter in your life. You know, it's just not, what is it? It's like a desire, or a desire is something that you're willing to suffer for until you get it. And a belt should not be one of those things.
I agree 100%. I don't think the belt matters as much as your actual growth. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I don't care what rank I'm at. What I care about is, did I go and did I learn something today? Did I get 1% better? Did I learn something that I didn't know yesterday when I went? Like that. Those are the things that I personally look for, and it makes me feel better as a person, being able to be like, oh man, I finally figured out what I was doing wrong with that guard pass. If I just like get my arm under, and every time it works now.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
What's your favorite submission? At this moment, I know that's probably going to change based on.
I don't know. I mean, I kind of been doing more like anaconda chokes lately, but I don't like doing them. It's just like what happens. I guess omoplata. If there was a submission that I would identify with the most, that I've put the most time in, it would be like omoplata setups and entries, and it's a very like low percentage attack. But I just love it so much, and I find the motion to be so natural to like my hips and my legs. And if I was a BJJ submission, I would be an omoplata for sure.
If you were a BJ,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's definitely a goofy one too, especially the omoplata. But I could see that because again, you're a goofy guy in a good way, of course.
It sets up so many things because like you can like start with an omoplata and go to so many other places. And there's a lot of submissions where you just like an arm bar, best case scenario, you can drag them back into a triangle, or maybe you go to an omoplata. But like, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like it just doesn't pigeonhole you. And I like having options. What's your favorite submission?
So my favorite to do is probably the Von Flue choke.
Okay.
I tend to lower my head a lot, especially
Yeah.
when we're standing, and then people will grab my head, and I'm like, oh, perfect. So I almost immediately every time I end up in a Von Flue, and it's a fun one because I've spent a lot of time trying to perfect the actual choking mechanism of it, which has then helped head and arm triangles, things like that for me. But like my most high rate one is annoyingly probably that straight ankle.
Okay. Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Yeah. I refuse to say any kind of leg lock because they're so mainstream right now. And I'm too edgy to like do something basic that somebody else would say.
Yeah. No, I get
Also, in the blue belt coaching thing, half the blue belts were like, I touch feet. And I'm like, well, then I don't touch feet ever again.
I seen that, dude.
Yeah.
Again, I'd highly recommend
Oh, yeah, it's a good
go watch
video,
those
yeah.
videos. Like, you've done quite a few very interesting videos between the card jiu-jitsu on the channel and the grappling league and everything else.
Help me get to 400 views, baby. We're gonna go famous.
What's the name of the YouTube channel for them to check
It's just
out?
Tackle Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah.
So if you look up Tackle Jiu-Jitsu, that is the videos to subscribe and watch to. And by the way, comment any questions or anything like that I may have missed, because a stoner. I missed my shit.
Yeah, you did pretty well. I was impressed with. I thought you were gonna, because he had smoked in front of me before we started this, and obviously I passed on that. But I was surprised at how articulate your tolerance has served you well. But
Smoke a lot of weed, man.
Yeah,
I am Rodney Hash.
Fair enough. If this is the closing part,
only if you wanted to.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions, but I was gonna prattle off like where you can find stuff.
Well, that's definitely exactly what I wanted to know, is where like where can people find like more about you? Where can people reach out to you? Where can
I want to do more with Pro Grappler, and we are going to do more with Pro Grappler. So I don't know that would necessarily be like we probably won't do like a podcast per se, but we're going to do more funny like video stuff, which is really just kind of like home videos that we want to watch with our friends.
Has he done any interviews or anything yet?
We haven't. We might do like text interviews. I think like maybe like recording interviews. We might. I don't know what the plan is. I'm not even saying
necessarily have to do kind of like how I'm doing, but I'm saying like if it sounds like it's kind of like a Substack type of thing, or like a newsletter,
journalism kind of thing. Yeah.
So it'd be really cool to see, like, I know you've got connections to like Dante and Max and everything like that.
Yeah.
If you could put them in contact with them just to see like, hey, like what's it like to be in the life of an athlete that's the
for sure. After the RTSC thing, those connections are a little bit more opaque. But yeah, like we're definitely like we're gonna do more like highlights on local competitors for sure. I know like I would love to do one on James Neely because I love what he's been doing. But
he's really cool. Isn't he out in PA?
He's a stout. Yeah,
and he comes over here often. I'm noticing
he's a good dude. Yeah,
he's going to the UGI ones. He's going to yours. Like that's not a short trip.
He was also going to Philadelphia, which is a similarly difficult drive for him to make. But he's
still like 3 hours from that side of PA to the other side.
At least, yeah, he's out there. But so we're gonna highlight some of that kind of stuff. I think we're just trying to figure out, like the Clear Belt tournament was us kind of figuring out, cameras and audio and all of that, and it's obviously not perfect, but having a real jiu-jitsu / combat sports platform, I feel like there really isn't one right now. Like there's like Jits Magazine, and I like their content, but it's kind of like a once a week kind of thing. And then there used to be the Jiu-Jitsu Times, which is kind of why we started it, because there's no Jiu-Jitsu Times anymore. So they didn't back up the website and it got hacked. Like this is like 4 years ago. and they just canned the company. And so we were like, well, I would like to just like read like jiu-jitsu articles sometimes.
Don't you do websites and stuff too?
Yeah.
That's got to irritate you so bad to know that.
Listen, I mean, it wasn't, if it was my website, it would irritate me. If it's their website, I'm like, that's crazy, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I mean, that is a nuts, like it's crazy not to have any backups, but, yeah, like we're trying to do more with that. You can find me at the gym Tackle Jiu-Jitsu in Middleburg Heights. If you're ever in Cleveland, if you're from out of town, you just drop in. We're not going to take your money. If you are interested in competing, you could follow Tackle Grapple on Instagram, which is kind of our fighting promotion thing, which is run separate from the gym, but in the gym, because we don't want it to seem like it's favoritism. And also, like, generally speaking, I try to give our guys the harder matches because you would be our guest. And then other than that, you know, you could probably find me trying to get more matches at that 247 venue because that place is pretty sick.
That's the one out in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah. Sunny Days Arena.
Sick. I kind of really want to go to that. I'm not gonna lie.
There's an event July 25th that I think I'm going to be on there. So I think it's worth the drive. I really do.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like it because, I mean, the only place with a cage even around here is UGI. I know that's another thing I do want to talk about. You guys, didn't you guys put in like the how CJI did the slanted, the padded thing?
We have a pit wall, yeah. So we have a really long, like our gym room is like 60 feet by 60 feet, and it's like mostly padded. And so one of the walls is a pit wall, which when we do our events, like if you can run somebody into that side of the room, you can obviously do submissions off of it. But you know, our gym's interesting. We got a car, we got a pit wall, we got an inflatable duck. We have silks, aerial silks we fought off of. If it's a thing, like I'm willing to try it, you know, if somebody has a suggestion, I'm like, hey, why don't you guys get some tasers? Like, we'll do it. We've done it, you know. I'm always looking for. We did an inflatable phone booth. It didn't work out well, so there weren't a lot of videos on it. I was
going to ask about that too because I seen that you said the Russian thing is what started off.
Well, then it just turns into like, what else can you do jiu-jitsu in, right?
Yeah.
The phone booth I like the idea of, but in practice it didn't work out. So
I like that you're doing it in a Durango more than a car because there's more room.
Yeah.
You've said some stories to me in the past about like. People have just been all over that car. Like they'll be on the hood. Like, what are the rules for car jiu-jitsu? Let's ask that.
Yeah, if you fall out of the Durango, you're out. But you can climb on top of the Durango and go back in. But it's just sub only jiu-jitsu. You can use anything in the car that's available to you. You start buckled in, 2 hands on each knee. When I say go, you unbuckle and go. So you have some people choking each other with seatbelts. You have some people that are just trying to throw the other guy out of the car. Sometimes people try to get on the roof, although that's risky because you have to re-enter, and sometimes you get pushed out. I did a car jiu-jitsu match on Sunday, and I won. It might have been against Marty, but he got on the roof, and then when he tried to enter, I just grabbed his feet and pushed him out before I wouldn't let him come back in. I think maybe it wasn't Marty. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but. Yeah, like it's just for fun, you know. I know Epi. I just put that video up. If you go to the Tackle Jiu-Jitsu YouTube, there's hours of car jiu-jitsu content over the past 3 years now, which is crazy. So
it's cool because then you can really see how it's like progressed and stuff like that. How it started off in the little truck out in the parking lot to the Durango fully souped up now with all the cameras and everything.
Yeah, it's cameraed up, no windshield, so you can climb out the front. It actually makes it easier to film it because I could just start sitting on the hood of the car with the camera. So if you're interested in car jiu-jitsu, hit me up, Tackle Grapple Instagram.
You're going to want to do it. It's fun.
Hell yeah, man.
Even if it's just once. Like that's honestly why I did it when I did it is because I'm like, I just want to try it once. Like this is something I keep seeing all over the place, and I'm like, what is this like, dude? Like, is it like we've all done jiu-jitsu? Like, what is? How applicable is it really in the car? And
it's more fun than a lot of people realize. Like, you do get hit a lot more because of the ceiling. Like, it is different, but everyone that does it, they're like, I didn't think it was going to be that fun. Yeah. So, I highly recommend it. We'll probably be announcing some sort. If it's not August, it will be September, where we do a little car jiu-jitsu tournament. But honestly, you know, today, this is a Friday, I'm probably going to have car jiu-jitsu at open mat. So the car is in there. There's no reason not to. So we're around and we're down to have fun, have a good time.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe of the gym. And that's why I want to showcase it, man. Because you guys You guys do so much fun shit. Like, and it's not just the car jiu-jitsu or the, I mean, you even when you were at the other place, like you were just doing so much crazy stuff, whether it be the didn't you do like a 4-person in a pit with
the Gaga ball pit? Yeah, we still have that. We did Beyblades. We put 8 people in a Gaga ball pit while everyone else around them just firing Beyblades at them, chucking them at their heads while they were trying to roll.
Yep.
We only did that like once. We might do that again. We were talking about that the other day because that was a while ago. But we have like a bunch of like 26-year-olds at the gym that just like they love going to church and they love playing Beyblades. And I never thought that like I would encounter such a group, but like they love it. They're really into it. And so we like it's not an uncommon sight at Tackle to see like people playing with Beyblades in the corner while other people are fighting each other, like hard sparring. So
I love it.
Yeah. I mean,
and luckily the new place is big enough to where you can actually do that. And
yeah. We got chess. We got Connect 4. One thing that I will do at some point for sure, just got to get the timing right, is Super Smash Brothers Jiu-Jitsu, where you have like a 3-minute round of Super Smash Brothers, 5 stock. And so you're all fighting there. And then you do a 3-minute round of jiu-jitsu. And so if you get subbed in that round, you're out. But otherwise, you go back to the Smash Brothers game that's paused in the third minutes. And you just go back and forth until either you're out of all your stock playing Smash Brothers or you get submitted.
That's definitely different.
Other people have done it with boxing. I'm definitely going to do it with jiu-jitsu. So that's something to look forward to. That will be going on at some point. But yeah.
So now I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna throw this at you just because it's. I don't know. Did I ever tell you about the Reefer Madness thing that I was trying to do?
Yeah. I was on it. Yeah. We had a team and you canceled us.
Yeah. Well, the venue told me that I couldn't have smoking there, and it was gonna be a very, very expensive thing that I literally could not get it to work. Yeah. I tried like hell, but
yeah, my team was like Tyler, Wyatt, me, and there was one other person. I'm trying to think who else signed up with us. We would have won for sure. We had such a good, and everyone was like healthy and in shape at the time. Now we're all crippled, except for Tyler. Tyler's in good shape. But.
I think the format of that though would have been fun, just even for the way that you guys have like the league set up. If you were to pull something like that, where you have like a 5-man tournament with a 190 or 5-man team, one coach, 190-pound average weight max for the whole team. So like 190 times 5 would be the team's weight. I think something like that. Fun.
I'm obviously down. I'm down for any contest. I think the reason why we don't do that right now is because getting 5 people on a team coordinated is kind of a pain in the ass.
Oh, it is.
And so like,
I mean, just you guys getting that team together was, I know, difficult. Yeah. Because it was like, I know you had like 3 or 4 that you were like, for sure, and then there was like a 5th that was like, I don't.
Yeah, like no matter what, we'll find somebody to jump in. But I think like that's the problem, is that like getting people to commit, especially like life's busy when you have people traveling. Then you have, instead of one person that has to get themselves from even the east side of Cleveland over to Tackle, now you have 5 people that need to get themselves over there. And what if one person doesn't show up? Then you got to find them another. Like there's so many ways for that to fall apart.
Which actually that reminds me, before we started this conversation, we were talking about with the new people who have never done jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu. You said that like every single one of them was like super responsive, like messaged you. The
smoothest run tournament I've ever done was with people that have never done jiu-jitsu before.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because jiu-jitsu people are the worst, but yeah, like everyone showed up, and I thought for sure there was going to be some no-shows, because every jiu-jitsu event we've done, there's been no-shows for people that are like going to win prizes, like, you know, that have confirmed they have like promotional material on them on the internet. None of these people had any of those like sticky points, and they all showed up. They were just like good, normal people. So,
and they've all got so also that's another thing that was really cool about it, is didn't you give like everyone got a free month of membership?
Yeah, so we needed to incentivize them some way. So the winner got 3 months, and then anyone that entered gets 1 month. So they get the month of July for free.
Now, do you plan on running this back ever?
We might do it again. I don't want to do the same thing too many times in a row. Like I'm definitely not doing it anytime soon. I think maybe next summer we'll do it. Maybe a little bit before then. But Like the idea wasn't, we're not trying to like use it as a recruitment tool. That's just like, this is the easiest thing for me to give away. It's I mean, I don't know, if it works out really well and we get a lot of like cool people that are interested. I know that there were some people that had never done jiu-jitsu before that wanted to compete that couldn't make that day work. So like maybe if there's like a ton of interest, I'd run it. It's like a really easy event for us to run. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I'm open to it. But
I definitely think it's cool, and I think it would definitely bring people into jiu-jitsu even if they don't necessarily go to your gym.
Yeah.
I feel like it would get a lot of people out of their shell, out of the like, there's a lot of people that get really uncomfortable just being like, I'm touching you.
Yeah, I think it's also it's like free fun. So like a lot of the people that were untrained people that entered were like 40 minutes away from the gym. They just wanted something to do. And so it's like, I'm cool with that.
Man.
But like that also means that they're probably not going to like attend classes, you know, which is fine. Again, it's just an interesting.
Going to one of the gyms that are close to them. Which, again, that's still building the community, still building.
Which obviously I love, you know, I definitely don't have any issues with that. But yeah, so I think it's just like a balance of like managing expectations. We're not trying to like, again, because we're not making any money on any of it. Like, I don't want it to be like a rhythmic job where we're constantly like running these events and getting drained. Mm-hmm. Doing a different event every other month, like is like energizing to me. Mm-hmm. When it starts to get repetitive or it doesn't seem as like wild, I get less interested in it. So either somebody else at Tackle has to do it or it's not going to get done.
Yeah. And I like that everything is such a passion for you with all of it. It creates that creativity. It creates that environment that you guys have there of everything being fun, man. Like, it doesn't need to be so uptight that a lot of places are where it's like, you guys have to like get like 50 burpees out today, or like you guys ain't going out like no, like no one wants to be in that environment, but there's people that want to be in like the environment that you create where it's like, dude, we're just here having fun. Like, life's supposed to be this way. It's too short to not have fun.
For sure. Yeah, that's the goal.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me see. Is there anything else I can think of? It's been 2 hours. I guess we could probably wrap this up if you.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I'm good, man. I got to get ready for open mat. So for sure. Thanks.
Maybe I'll go up. What is today? Friday,
6 p.m.
I'll have to make her drive herself. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem, man. Happy to be here. Thanks for including me in your art project.
It's a passion project of mine too. I ain't making no money off this either. It's it's just about community and culture. You know what I mean? Spreading love.
The 2 C's: community and culture.
Right. All right, guys. If you guys like this one, make sure you click the like button, comment below, share with a friend. There will be more in the future. Put things off a little while, but I think things are going pretty well now, so there will be more to come. Who knows? If you guys want, maybe I'll get Adam on the show too or something.
Yeah, tackle,
grapple.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace.